My name is Sane. I sing and play guitar for Anti-Flag. For me, the way I prepare myself, it's quite an extensive routine. I do a lot of vocal warm-ups, and I'm like stretching everything, because on stage, you know, Anti-Flag's a very kind of like athletic band. I tend to sometimes almost kill myself on stage, so the more stretched out I am, the better. It's a great energy release, and I think that you know, it's something positive to focus your energy into. You know, I think about everything. It's amazing. I mean, after you've played a song for so long, it's possible for me not to think about playing the song at all. I can just play it, and the song's over, and I've been thinking about, like, you know, walking on the beach, and I've been thinking about, like, all kinds of things, you know, like what I'm gonna have for dinner. You know, it's like, it's funny, you know, and then, but that's pretty rare. I mean, usually when I'm playing, I'm thinking about the song and the things that relate to the song. And quite often, one of the things I think about whenever I am playing a song is when I sing a line, I often think, like, I remember when I wrote that line and why I wrote it. So it's kind of interesting. It's like a little flashback. I really like a spectacular show. I mean, we don't come to play. We come to perform and to really just have a good time. And you know, sometimes maybe we don't play the best we could play, but I think that it is. I think that in the end, it's still a better show. You know, I mean, I've seen so many bands, they can play so well and they're perfect in everything they do, but they're so fucking boring that it's hard to watch. So, you know, if I want to hear good music, I'll listen to a record. You know, if I want to see a really great show, you know, I'll go see a band that can really rock. I like both. I mean, they're both great in their own way. I mean, there's nothing like getting up in front of 40,000 people. You know, that's a great time. On the other hand, it's also amazing to you know, to play a small club that is really full of energy and people are right in your face. Like yesterday in Madrid, there was no barricade, and we just, you know, I mean, I could reach out and touch the kids, and it was great. You know, so I like shows like that. Any Gibson sounding guitar with a Marshall amp. I mean, it's pretty basic for me, you know. I think that all people have a right to be self-governed. I'm American, but I'm also Irish, and I understand, you know, the idea of having another government or government body occupy your home, you know. But I think that, you know, in this day and age where we have so much bloodshed and so much killing around the world, that it is important that we find a peaceful way to exist. And I encourage people to take that route. On the other hand, though, I also believe in self-defense. I mean, I think that if someone is using brutal oppression against you, that it's within your right to defend yourself. So it's a really difficult issue in this day and age, when I'm hoping that as a society we're progressing beyond throwing sticks and stones at each other, and that we can find a way to peacefully coexist, and that people can accept each other's cultures and their differences and actually respect those things. And for me, you know, that's what Anti-Flag is about. It's about the idea that we're not a color of skin. We're not straight or gay or male or female. We're not a religion, you know. We're not flags. We're not nationalities. We're human beings, and it's up to us and it's within ourselves to find a middle ground and to meet there, and to treat each other respectfully and give each other the chance to have equality and have a freedom to do with our own lives as we choose. Well, yeah, I mean, we've definitely been censored, so it's not something we worry about. I mean, it's gonna happen. And, especially in a country as nationalistic as the United States. I mean, it's, and that, of course, is to a large degree what drove us to choosing the anti-flag, to make the statement that, we have to see beyond these artificial constraints that are built up in society. And ultimately, I think that, whether it be nationalism or religion or patriotism, I think that these are often tools that are used by people in power to divide the masses. I think that we have to be, we have to have some courage and stand up for what we think is right, even if it's going to lead to censorship, or even if it's going to lead to trouble with the authorities, because ultimately, it's the people who have the courage to stand up and say what they believe in that actually make a change in the world for the better. So yeah, we have been censored, but it's something that we fight against and work against. And I think if we're being censored, we're probably saying the right things. Yeah, I think that punk rock has always been a place where people could be themselves as long as they were willing to be respectful of the community around them, the punk rock community. In our societies overall, I mean, the use of alcohol and drugs, it's such a big part of our culture. And I think that if you were a person that didn't want to do those things, you wouldn't really fit in the normal culture. I mean, for me, I did not want to do drugs, and I didn't drink in high school. So I was considered an outsider, and so, but the punk rock scene, it was like, hey man, it's cool, just come hang out with us, and there was even a name for it. It was straight edge. And it was like, so if you went to a punk party and you said, somebody offered you a drink, and you could say, I'm straight edge, and they'd be like, oh, that's cool. Like, they were okay with that, and so I think it was a place where people who didn't fit into that mainstream party culture, the punk rock scene provided an alternative. And to a certain degree, I never really attached the moniker straight edge to myself, because some people use straight edge just as they use religion or race or any other reason to start fights. Like, oh, you're not straight edge, I'm gonna kick your ass. And that's bullshit. That's not what punk rock is to me. I think that when we signed with the major label, I think that people were very confused and they were very skeptical. I mean, we see so many bands that sign to a major label and they claim to do it for all the right reasons, and then they don't do any of the things that they said they were going to do. It's almost like they become politicians or something. And for Anti-Flag, I mean, we had certain goals and certain plans that we went into to achieve using the resources of the major label. And I think that we did that. I think we did it really well. And when our record came out on the major label, it was the most political record we've ever made. I mean, and I think that it made some statements, especially in the United States, that just were not being made by anybody. And all of a sudden, because we're on a major label, we had access to a very wide audience, especially in the media. I mean, we had the New York Times and all these really big newspapers that would never even look at us before. But all of a sudden, because now we're on a major label, they want to talk to us. And they want to talk to us about the issues that we're bringing up on the record. And I was actually able to say to the reporter at the New York Times, your newspaper failed the world. Unfortunately, in punk rock, there is this very self-defeating mentality that as soon as you work and you work and you work to get yourself to this place, and as soon as you're able to take it to this next level and do something incredible, everyone wants to beat you down. It's like you're turning your back on punk rock and what you believe in. So I understand where people, get angry about certain things, but from our perspective, we were taking the resources given to us by the label and doing good with it. And you know what? I mean, the label could have been spending their money on Kid Rock or American Idol or Jay-Z or something that, was something that doesn't have a lot of substance. I'd much rather them spend their money on Anti-Flag than on Britney Spears. So they're going to spend the money either way. Hey, my name's Justin Sane. I'm from Anti-Flag. You're watching a StereoZona. Peace.